Journey to the West, an audio drama series. Chapter 30, Part 2. The young dragon prince was in mid-air when he saw bright candlelight from inside the Hall of Silver Peace. It turned out to be 8 iron candle stands each with a lit candle on top. He lowered the cloud and looked carefully. The monster was alone, sitting in the top seat, munching human flesh and washing it down with wine. The young dragon laughed and said, "What a useless creature!" He gave himself away and let the truth out, throwing away all regard because he got impatient. Eating humans is certainly not the way out. If only I knew where my master was. I have come across this lousy monster instead. I shall go play a trick on him. If I succeed, I can capture the monster and it will not be too late to save master. Splendid dragon prince! With a shake of his body, he too transformed into a palace maid. Truly light and elegant was her body, and seductive was her appearance. Swiftly she made her way inside and formally greeted the monster, saying, "Oh, imperial son-in-law, do not harm my life. Allow me to serve you wine." The monster said, "Pour me wine." The young dragon then took the flagon and poured wine into his cup. The wine ended up being almost half a cup higher than the cup itself, yet it did not spill out at all. This was due to the young dragon using a spell of water restraining. The monster did not recognize it and said with delight, "You've really got some tricks up your sleeves." The young dragon said, "I could pour and make it even higher." The monster said, "Pour some more, pour some more." She held the flagon and kept pouring as the wine kept building higher and higher to the point of looking like a 13-story pagoda. Pointy and full to the rim, yet not a drop was spilt. The monster opened his mouth and drank a cup full before picking up the corpse to have another bite. He then asked, "Can you sing?" The young dragon answered, "A little." She then sung a short song to its right tunes before serving him another cup of wine. The monster then asked, "Can you dance?" The young dragon answered, "A little as well, but it doesn't look very exciting when done with bare hands." The monster then shifted his clothes, untied the decorated broadsword on his waist, and pulled it out from the sheath. He then handed the weapon to the young dragon. The young dragon accepted the broadsword and began paying close attention. In front of the banquet tables, she showed off some flowery tricks up and down, left and right. The monster watched as he became dazzled when the young dragon suddenly withdrew her performance and hacked right towards the monster. Splendid monster! He dodged by moving sideways in panic before lifting an iron candle stand to hold off the broadsword. The candle stands were forged with wrought iron. If you counted the full stand, it weighed about 80 to 90 jin. The two of them left the Hall of Silver Peace when the young dragon showed his true form. Ascending into the clouds, he fought with the monster in mid-air. It truly was a fine battle in the dark. Why was that so? One was the monster from Concave Bow Mountain, the other was a true dragon banished from the West Sea. One let out hair-thin beams of light as if puffing white lightning, the other breathed potent air like bursting red cloud. One moved like an old elephant with white tusks roaming the mortal world. The other fought like a cat with golden claws, descending upon the realm below. One was a jade pillar supporting heaven, the other was a golden bridge across the seas. The silver dragon danced as the yellow demon flipped. The treasured broadsword swung left and right without slowing down. The iron candle stand came back and forth with no sign to stop. The pair fought for 8 or 9 rounds in the air when the young dragon felt his hands shaking while the old monster was still going strong. The young dragon could not withstand him, so he threw the broadsword towards the monster. The monster had his ways with the weapon and snatched it with one grab. Tossing away the iron candle stand with the other hand, he slashed on with the broadsword. The young dragon did not have time to react and was hit on the hind leg. Hastily he descended from the clouds and managed to survive owing to the imperial river. He plunged into the water, so when the monster came over, he could not find the young dragon. Holding the treasure broadsword as well as the iron candle stand, the monster returned to the Hall of Silver Peace, where he ate, drank, and slept as usual. We will speak no more of that. We go back to the young dragon who dived underwater. After not picking up any sound for half a shichen, he finally gritted his teeth and endured the pain on his leg before jumping out. Stepping on dark clouds, he made his way back to the lodge. Transforming back into the horse, he lay down in the stall. Poor thing, drenched all over with a scar on his leg. We put aside Sanzang, who was suffering from misfortune, and the young dragon who lost his battle. Instead, we look now at Zhu Bajie, who abandoned Sha Monk and hid his head in some grass. By sinking into a pool of mud, he slept until midnight. When he woke up, he had no idea where he was. Rubbing his eyes and calming his mind, he listened around carefully. Alas! He was deep in the mountains where no dog could be heard barking. In that wilderness, not a rooster was found to be crowing. He watched the stars in the skies and figured it was around the third watch. He then thought to himself, if I am going to rescue Sha Monk, it's really a case of a single fiber cannot make a thread and a lone palm cannot clap. Forget about it, forget all about it. I shall return to the city to see Master and report to the throne. We can then select some brave troops to help old boy and come back to save Sha Monk tomorrow. And so the fool hurried away in clouds and came straight back to the city. Within moments, he was back in the lodge. It was the time of tranquility and moonlight. However, he couldn't find his master anywhere down the corridors. All he saw was the white horse, sleeping there with his entire body wet. And on its hind leg, there was a patch of greenish bruising the size of a basin. Bajie said in astonishment, What double misfortune! The loser hasn't been traveling at all. Why is he sweating all over with a bruise on his leg? It must be some criminals who robbed Master and hurt the horse. The white horse recognized it was Bajie and suddenly burst into human speech, calling, Elder brother! The fool was so frightened he dropped to the ground. After coming back on his legs, he tried to dash away, but the horse leaned forward and caught hold of his dark robe with his teeth, saying, Big brother, don't be afraid of me. Shaking in fear, Bajie asked, Brother, why are you suddenly talking today? The fact that you are talking must mean something terrible has happened. The young dragon asked, Are you aware of the woe Master is in? Bajie answered, I am not. The young dragon explained, Of course you are not. You and Sha Monk showed off your skills in front of that emperor, thinking you could defeat that monster and come ask for rewards with your accomplishments. But the monster was powerful beyond your expectation. Your skills weren't his match and could not defeat him. It would have been better if you returned to inform us, but there was no news at all. He then detailed how the monster tricked everyone by transforming into a handsome scholar and turned Sanzang into a tiger. After recounting his failed assassination, the young dragon said, The bruise on my leg was a result from him hitting me with an iron candle stand. Bajie heard all that and asked, Did that really happen? The young dragon said, Do you think I'm bluffing? Bajie then said, What are we to do? Can you move? The young dragon asked, What if I can? Bajie said, If you can move, you should move down to the seas. Let old Bo carry the luggage back to Old Gao village and resume my life as a son-in-law. The young dragon heard that and seized Bajie's shirt with his mouth, not letting him go. With tears rolling down from his eyes, he begged, Elder brother, you must not succumb to indolence. Bajie said, Why does not being indolent even matter? He already captured Brother Sha, and I cannot defeat him. What are we waiting for, not giving up now? The young dragon fell silent for quite a while before saying in tears, Oh, elder brother, don't say anything about giving up. To save Master, you've got to ask someone to come here. Bajie asked, Who do you suggest I bring over? The young dragon said, Hurry up and fly by cloud to the mountain of flower and fruit and ask our eldest brother Sun Xingzhe to come here. He's got the immense power needed to subdue the monster. I'm sure he can save Master as well as avenge us for the defeat we suffered. Bajie said, Brother, we've got to find someone else. That monkey is not on good terms with me. Back on the White Tiger Ridge, when he killed that Madam Whitebone, he blamed me for urging Master to recite the tightening band spell. I was just saying it in jest. I never thought the old monk would really recite it before banishing him back home. I cannot imagine how much grievance he holds against me. There is no way he would come. If we got into a disagreement, you know how his morning stick could get quite heavy. If he didn't know any better and gave me a few strokes, how am I to survive?" The young dragon said, "He certainly will not hit you. He's a kind and just Monkey King. When you meet him, just don't say Master is in peril. Instead say, Master misses you. Just coax him and bring him here. Once he arrives and sees what happened, there is no way he could tolerate this. He will certainly have it out with the monster spirit. I'm sure he will capture the monster and save our master." Bajie then said, Fine. You've been very diligent. If I refuse to go, it would appear as if I am not as dedicated. I'll make the trip. If Xingzhe agrees to come, I will return with him. Should he turn me down, you should not wait for me. I will not come back." The young dragon said, Go ahead. I'm sure he will come." The fool picked up his rake, straightened his clothes, and hopped onto a cloud heading straight for the east. This time the tongue monk was destined to have his life saved. The fool happened to be traveling by a tailwind. With his 2 ears stuck up to act as sails, he soon made it across the east seas before descending from his cloud. Without realizing the sun was already rising, he thereby entered the mountain to find his way. Just as he was walking, he suddenly heard someone speaking. Bajie then took a careful look and found that in the hollow of the mountain, Xingzhe was convening all the monsters. There he was, sitting on a rocky cliff with over 1,200 monkeys before him, all of whom lied according to their ranks and shouted, "Long live great sage, our kindred lord!" Bajie said, What pleasures indeed. No wonder he didn't want to be a monk and wanted to come home. Look at all the nice things he's got here. An enormous property and so many little monkeys at his service. If old Bo owned a mountain range like this, I wouldn't be a monk either. Now that I have come here, what should I do? I must try and see him in person." The fool was a bit afraid of him, so he dared not have the meeting in the open. Instead, he slipped towards the grassy cliffs and scooched his way into those 1,200 or so monkeys, kowtowing just like them. What he didn't know was that Great Sage Sun was sitting up high and his eyesight was sharp, so he had a clear view of it all. He thereby asked, "There is a foreigner kowtowing within your ranks, doing it all wrong. Where is he from? Bring him over here." Without further discussion, those little monkeys swarmed around him and pushed Bajie forward before pressing him onto the ground. Xingzhe asked, "Where are you from, foreigner?" With his head lowered, Bajie said, "Pardon me and thank you for asking. I am not a foreigner, but someone familiar. Very familiar." Xingzhe said, "All the monkeys under this great sage's command look similar, but you have a distinct face, looking rather clumsy and foolish. You must be a monster from elsewhere. If you wish to become my subordinate, you need to first hand in documents detailing your identity. Report your name first, so we can assign you to our ranks awaiting deployment. If we decide against having you here, then you have no business kowtowing without cause." Head still down, Bajie complained with a pouty mouth, "You've got no shame. Is this the face you choose to show me? You and I have been brothers for a few years after all. Pretending you don't recognize me and calling me a foreigner now." Xingzhe laughed and said, "Lift your head for me to see." The fool pointed his snout upward and said, "Have your look. Even if you can't recognize me, you at least recognize my mouth." Xingzhe couldn't help but burst into laughter, saying, "Zhu Bajie." Having heard his name called, Bajie rolled over and jumped up, answering, I am Zhu Bajie." He then thought to himself, "If he recognizes me, then the conversation is off to a good start." Xingzhe then asked, "Why are you not accompanying the tongue monk to seek scriptures, but instead came here? I assume you offended master and he banished you as well. Where is your letter of banishment? Show it to me." Bajie explained, "I haven't offended him and he didn't issue a letter of banishment. He didn't banish me." Xingzhe asked, "If there is no letter of banishment and he never banished you, why are you at my place?" Bajie answered, "Master misses you. He told me to come invite you." Xingzhe said, "He doesn't want to invite me, nor does he miss me. He made a vow to heaven that day and wrote a letter of banishment with his own hands. Why would he be willing to miss me? much less ask you to come all the way here to invite me. It certainly wouldn't be right for me to go." 八戒 made up a lie on the spot, hurriedly claiming, "He really does miss you. He really does." 行者 asked, "How so?" 八戒 answered, "Master was traveling on the horse when he called out, 'Disciples.' I couldn't hear it, and Sha Monk said he was a bit deaf, and so Master thought of you. He said how unhelpful we are compared to you, who is clever and efficient. Whenever he called you, you would at once respond. Whenever he had a question, you would come up with 10 answers. He was missing you like that, and that's how he instructed me to invite you. It is my sincere wish that you make the trip. On one hand is to not disappoint his longing heart, and on the other hand, my long trip will not be a waste." 行者 heard that and jumped up the cliff before holding 八戒 by the hand, saying, "My wise young brother, I appreciate that you came from so far away. Do come have some fun with me for now." 八戒 said, "Oh, big brother, it's been a long journey. I fear Master will be waiting for too long. I shouldn't go play." 行者 said, "You've made it this far. How about just have a view of my mountain?" The fool dared not insist too hard, so he had no choice but to go along. The pair held hands and, followed by a group of imps, reached the highest peak of the mountain of flower and fruit. What a fine mountain! Ever since the great sage came home, it took them a few days to return the place to its fresher days. Look at that. Green and tall, it was home to many a creature. In the mornings, clouds shielded the peaks, and by dusk the sun hung around the branches. The streams sung like clinking jade and musical instruments. Behind the cliffs and crags there lie thick blossoms of all colors. A true gem of a cave, connecting heaven and all that was below. No painter and tailor had the talent to recreate such scenes. Strange rocks served as decoration as auspicious beams of light shone through the place. Truly a paradise of the mortal realm, with new trees and flowers covering the mountain. 八戒 could barely take in all the scenery when he said in great joy, "Oh, big brother, what a fine place it is! No wonder it is the finest mountain of this world." Xing asked, "My wise younger brother, do you think one could get by in this place?" 八戒 laughed and said, "Listen to what you're saying. This precious mountain is a hidden paradise and blessed land. And you're still asking about getting by." The two of them joked around for quite a while before heading back down. Several little monkeys were waiting by the road, holding purple grapes, fragrant pears and dates, golden loquats, and red bayberries. Prostrating by the roadside, they said loudly, "Great Sage the Kindred Lord, please enjoy your breakfast." Xing laughed and said, "My young pig brother here has got a huge appetite. He doesn't eat fruit for a meal. Never mind, never mind. I hope you don't find this offer a little too humble. Have some for a snack, at least." 八戒 said, "I may have a huge appetite, but I'd also do what the locals do. Bring them over and let me taste a few." The pair had some fruit as the sun slowly rose higher. The fool feared he was running out of time to save the tongue monk, so he urged, "Big brother, Master is there waiting for us. I hope you can come with me as soon as possible." Xing said, "My wise younger brother, I shall invite you to tour inside the water curtain cave." 八戒 insisted on turning the invitation down, saying, "Thank you for your generous hospitality, old brother. Unfortunately, Master has been waiting for too long. I should not bother heading inside the cave." Xing then said, "If so, then I shall keep you no more. Let's bid farewell here and now." 八戒 asked, "Big brother, are you not coming?" Xing said, "Where should I be going? Right here I am not bound by heaven, nor am I governed by earth. I am free. Why should I give up all this fun and be a monk instead? I won't be going. You can go by yourself. But do give my response to the tongue monk as follows. You have already banished me. Don't you miss me again." The fool heard his words and dared not persist with the effort. He feared that if Wukong's temper were unleashed, he would be subjected to a couple of strokes by the rod. Without a better choice, he could only meekly bid farewell before finding his way out. Xing saw him go and at once sent 2 agile little monkeys to follow 八戒 and listen to what he had to say. As the four descended from the mountain, it barely took 3 or 4 li of distance before he turned around to point in Xingzhe's direction and spout insults. This monkey doesn't want to be a monk, but be a master instead. This ape. I came to invite him in good faith, yet he refused to go. So be it. With every few steps he took, there were several new insults. The 2 little monkeys hurried back to report. Great sage the kindred law that Zhu Bajie really is a dishonest man. He was walking while spouting insults. Enraged, Xingzhe ordered, Take him. The many monkeys swiftly rushed forward to catch up to Bajie before pushing him to the ground. Pulling on his bristles and ears, as well as dragging his tail and hair, they captured him and carried him back. We do not know what treatment awaits him and what will become of his life. Please wait until the next chapter.